Hello there, good evening to you and welcome to the Saroy channel. I'm so glad you've tuned in tonight, and lots of love to all of you out there, and wherever you are in North America or anywhere in the world, you are so welcome to the channel. And please do subscribe, because I've got amazing stories in line for you. And the one tonight is very interesting, because the woman looks at a Bigfoot at a party and she believes that she's actually seeing someone in a ghillie suit, and only realizes later that she actually got to see Bigfoot. So let's get started. You're going to enjoy this story. Dear Sarah, I live in the Appalachian Mountains and I have a beautiful homestead here. I live a typical rural life, looking after my family, growing vegetables and making homemade bread. I really enjoy my lifestyle here, and I've heard over the years about people encountering strange creatures like Sasquatch, but I've never had an experience of seeing one myself until June of 2008. Before I begin, I'd like to say that my two boys were very young at the time. Wayne was only 5 and Donovan was 6. I was planning a birthday bash for Donovan's 7th birthday. I was planning to invite loads of friends from our church family, including any new arrivals or attendees at the church, and of course Donovan's and Wayne's circle of their own personal friends. We planned to have a very nice big gathering. We are very friendly out here in the Appalachian Mountains. Maybe it's got a lot to do with the lovely fresh air. And when we have a party, everyone we know is always invited. I was going to prepare a pig on the spit with tons of salads, plenty of cakes and sweets for the kids, and all in all, it was going to be a fabulous day. I was about to send out the invitations to everyone when Donovan approached me and said that he wanted his party to be a dress-up. Everyone must dress up as an animal, he said excitedly. I thought about it and then finally agreed. It would mean I'd have to get out the sewing machine, of course, and make lots of outfits for my kids. But what the heck, I thought. It could be quite fun. I tell you what, I said, we'll even get the adults to dress up. Won't that be nice? Donovan was jumping up and down and with excitement. Yeah, he laughed. So, sweetheart, I asked him, do you want to be a bumblebee? We can make you a lovely bumblebee costume. You'll love it. I know exactly where to get the stuff from. I don't want to be a bumblebee. I'm going to be Monkey Man. Monkey Man, I asked him. Oh, you mean Bigfoot. You want to be a Bigfoot. Monkey Man, said Donovan. He drew me a picture of a black hairy monkey man and told me that that is what he wanted to be. I sent out all the invitations telling people to come as any animal they chose, whether it was mythical, like a unicorn or a mermaid or a Bigfoot, and the list went on. All the children who were to come to the party were to have animal costumes made for their party. And everyone was so excited, especially as there was going to be 3 prizes for the very best costumes. I do not know how the adults felt about dressing up as an animal, but frankly I didn't care. It's going to be fun. Why not, I thought. We could do with bringing out the child in ourselves from time to time. I came back from town with all the material that I was going to need for Donovan's monkey costume and Wayne his unicorn outfit. Donovan was not happy with the material I had purchased. It's not black, he said, looking at the material in disgust. And it's not like real fur, Mummy. Seeing his disappointment, we went back into town the following day to get Donovan the material he wanted for his costume. But he wasn't too pleased with what was available, and I explained to him that the shop did not have black fur-like material. They only had dark brown, so we'd have to make do. I'm sure the Monkey Man may come in many colours, I told him. He did not look convinced that Monkey Man could be anything but black. He went on to continually tell me that Monkey Man was definitely black. I got to work making the costumes, and Donovan decided that he'd have to settle for the brown fur material after all. I hastened to add that no red flags were blowing in my mind as Donovan instructed me on how he wanted his costume to look. I assumed he'd been watching those Bigfoot programs you see on television, so I wasn't duly concerned. When Donovan got his first fitting in the monkey outfit, he would not stop examining himself in the mirror. He studied himself very carefully and very critically, and I watched him walking around the living room, moving his legs in a very odd and peculiar way. Then he would jump up on all fours and then get up on 2 feet, and then he started to make a strange chattering sound, and then he even made some weird grunting noises. I laughed out loud. He was funny to watch. Maybe he fancied himself as an actor or a comedian, and he was convincing. I was impressed. The day of the birthday arrived. I had made Donovan a huge Bigfoot cake with black icing made to look like the thick hair. It was an ugly, hideous, monster-like cake, but Donovan loved it, and that's all that mattered. After all, it was his birthday. I prepared the feast, including making burgers for the kids, and soon everyone started to arrive. Some of the mothers in these neck of the woods really know how to sew, because I kid you not, some of those costumes were works of art. I could not tell which child was which because they were all wearing full-body costumes with holes in the eyes to see through. I truly do not know one child from the other, but it didn't matter. There were some adults who did make an effort with their costumes, but very few. One man hired a dragon suit from a dress-up shop, while another one was a kangaroo and another a grizzly bear. As for the mothers, most of them didn't bother to dress up at all, which was pretty disappointing. Having said that, I was also not making much of an effort myself. I was wearing a pair of big bunny ears on my head and a white fluffy tail attached to the derriere of my pink skirt. The party was so much fun. The children were making a huge amount of noise, jumping boisterously up on the bouncy castle I'd hired. Later on we served lunch, and the pig on the spit was a huge success among the adults, but the children loved the burgers and the hot dogs. As the children were watching the clown I'd hired, who had everyone's attention, even the adults, because he had placed his head in a bowl of banana cream pie, and the children and the adults were throwing the rest of the pudding at the man and having so much fun. It was then in the distance I saw a man standing behind a tree, dressed in a Bigfoot outfit. I wondered if he was a new member of our church, because he seemed very out of it and elusive and was keeping himself to himself. And when he saw me looking at him, he quickly tucked himself behind the branches of the tree. I know what it's like to feel painfully shy, so I felt a smouldering sense of empathy for the poor man. When I was younger, to avoid socialization, I had also hidden behind trees and hedges to avoid talking to people. It had been one of my best party tricks. The party went on to quite late in the day because the parents talked for ages amongst each other. Then it was the prize giving, and I looked around for the man with the Bigfoot outfit, but he was nowhere to be seen. So I presented the fancy dress prizes to Piglet, Eeyore, and Winnie the Pooh, all who wore costumes that their mothers had made to absolute perfection. I asked around, who was the young man from church in the Bigfoot outfit? It was a brilliant costume, so realistic, I said, just how I would imagine a Bigfoot to look, only way too small for a real Bigfoot. Everyone looked at me as if I was talking a foreign language. Nobody was wearing a Bigfoot costume. Ray was wearing that hairy bear suit, if that's what you mean, but there was no one wearing a Bigfoot costume. My heart started racing, not from fear, but from the realization that what I had seen behind the tree may well and truly have been the real deal himself, Bigfoot. There had definitely been something about that creature, even though he was small, I thought. But then you do get juveniles. Maybe he was a youngster who was just curious about the noises that were coming from my home. I then thought suddenly about my son's strange behavior recently, where he had mimicked what he called Monkey Man. He had also wanted a Monkey Man cake for his birthday and an outfit, and he had been very precise about how it should all look. I asked Donovan once again, who is Monkey Man? Why don't you draw me a picture again? He drew me a picture of Monkey Man, and I asked him, where does he live? I do not know. I only saw him once, said Donovan. He took our chicken. What? I asked. Why did you not tell me? You do not ask me. You didn't ask me, chuckled Donovan. Is he going to give us our chicken back, Mummy? He asked. No, I don't think so, I said. If you do see him again, you must tell Mummy, all right, and you must promise me you will not go up to him. Donovan nodded. He was a good boy, really. I have to say I'm still surprised I saw Bigfoot that day. but he must have been a youngster. However, I will say this on reflection, what I saw that day. That Bigfoot looked exactly like the Patterson film, only he was much smaller and thinner. So that's my story. Bigfoot showed up for a birthday party when he's supposed to be elusive, but to be fair, I was the only one that noticed him that day. I did not get the impression he was dangerous, but I guess just like human beings, you are going to get different personality types. Even so, I would not be comfortable having him hang around our property. There have been a few whooping sounds on our property from time to time, and the occasional wood knocks among the other sounds that we hear at night. I do wonder if they're coming from our Bigfoot. As long as he keeps a distance, I really don't mind. Love to you and your viewers. Thank you so much for that wonderful story. Until next time, good night.